Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a completely fail-proof way for you to fill your junk journal pages. It's absolutely free. It's a great way to decorate the pages. You don't need any special supplies. There's nothing to buy. We're going to simply use card sketches as our inspiration. So this is a journal that I worked through in my live yesterday. And here are some things that I had in my stash. Now, you don't have to run out and buy any books at all. You can get card sketches online for absolutely free. If you Google card sketches, you will be searching for days. I mean, you will find so much inspiration. Pinterest everywhere, card sketches are abundant. I just happen to have these books in my stash. So it's what I'm going to use today because I can tangibly show you a sketch and then show you how I am interpreting it for junk journaling. Some of these are just so ideal. I picked 3 right away in that book. Maybe you have some old catalogs. This idea is probably going to be really natural for people who come from scrapbooking or card making because these are ideas that they're familiar with. But I've never seen someone incorporate it into their junk journals, and I think it's perfect. I have almost filled an entire book already, and I'm going to fill 6 pages of this journal with you guys. So here's another book that is based on scrapbooks. And the other great thing about this is you can use all your scraps. Here is the sheet load of cards, which I also showed in my live yesterday. I have been on the sheet load team for 2 years, and so I have a file folder with every month's sheet load. The sheet load is absolutely free for everyone. You get it over at Call Me Crafty Owl's YouTube channel, and it would be a great source. Every month you could get a new card sketch. Okay, so let me show you what I made in my live yesterday. Yesterday, I took this same book and just randomly, as I was chatting with everyone, picked 3 card sketches. I liked this one because I felt like I used Project Life cards, but most of us junk journalers have corner rounders, so I felt like this was a really good, approachable one. I did hinge mine with my faux vintage tape that I make. And so that is how I made that one. Now, I didn't earmark these pages, so I'm just kind of flipping through. Here's another one. That card really just sang to me, and I did end up turning this on its side. I did make it a belly band and a tuck for, secret journaling spot or a hidden journaling spot. The great thing is that the belly band also holds paper. So here's another one. We did 4 pages in my live yesterday in 45 minutes. And that's because there was chatting and other things going on as well. So it's a quick way to start getting your junk journals used. You can use this so that you can journal in your pages, or you can use this idea to decorate your pages if you're selling your journals. And, there's no infringement. These sketches are always free for card makers to use and reuse and reuse. And here in junk journaling, we're going to do the same. I don't know if I'll ever step away from this now. I mean, I'm sure I will, but I'm going to be hooked on this for a while. I really just know that I am. Here is the 4th sketch that I did. That one I could see myself just putting pictures on top of. I could journal on top of it. Here's my charm that I did earlier this week, in case you missed that, my page charms. All right, so let's tackle some pages right here together. At the very beginning, when I was showing you this book, I went ahead and put some markers in there to hold my space. I've got the same pile of scraps that I had yesterday, and I'm going to use these today because really this is such a great way to use up your scraps. A lot of these are just leftovers from craft fair makes that I did. And a lot of times, like when I have all these coordinating papers, I keep them together, even though they are my scraps, because I know that they'll all go well together. So I kind of keep them in piles in my box so that they stay together and I can make cohesive projects until all the scraps are gone. So this sketch basically had, a piece of paper running up the edge, and I'm flipping to that page because I can't remember the rest. Oh, it had what I interpreted and turned into a pocket. So that's what's so cool about using a sketch, is then you can turn on your junk journal brain and go, hey, I see that that's a rectangle, because this basically was one long strip of paper and two rectangles. So as a junk journaler, I can turn on my junk journaling brain and go, hey, that would make a great belly band. Oh, and I can turn that rectangle into a pocket. Oh, and instead of that rectangle, that second rectangle, I can turn that into, I can make a tag. So, play with it, interpret it the way that you enjoy and that makes it fun for you. Or glue it all down and come back and journal on it later. Add pictures to it later. I use a lot of my journaling for memory keeping, so I do like to add pictures and different things, ephemera that I pick up from trips or whatever into my journals. And so, just make it work for you. But I know that for me, using these sketches is taking out all of the debate, all the mental debate in my mind of how am I going to use this page, like this page. This is a sideways turn dictionary page. I don't love sideways image or pages in my junk journals anymore. I very rarely will put a piece of paper in my junk journal that is sideways like this. This is an older journal that I made when I was still doing that, but it just is something that I've kind of come away from. So this is a great way for me to kind of mend those pages, if you will. So now I've grabbed another sketch that kind of had like two more rectangles and a band of paper. But this one is going to be very different by the time I'm done with it. So I am just kind of taking this and folding this. I want that little Vermont cottage to remain on the page, but I just didn't need that big of a sheet of paper because I'm going to have this band of stars over here on the left. And then I'm going to just take that and fold it as well. This is definitely the junk journaler in me versus the card maker. Card makers, you're using such a small space that you usually have to measure things out for the most part. At least I do. But as junk journalers, we have a little bit more space and freedom because there's less drive for perfection. I've often wondered what is so different about card makers and junk journalers. And I think now I'm starting to although I'm both, I think I'm starting to figure out some differences. We're all paper crafters. That's what I could never understand about the difference, because I was like, well, we're using the same things. We're using beautiful paper and stamps and inks, and how can we be so different? But there is definitely some differences there. Or you could be like me and love both. So I'm using this glue stick, which is not my favorite, but I have 12 of them now. So I'm going to embrace it and love it, and reinforce it with wet glue. All right, so now I have my 3 pieces of paper down. I did leave some space there because I wanted to still see some of the dictionary page. I don't like covering an entire page. It's there aesthetically for a reason, and I want to see it. I had seen this little piece that was just so adorable in my scraps, and I decided I wanted to make it like a little booklet. So I have this scrap tea-dye paper, and I decided, okay, I'm going to make a little journal to go in this bigger journal. So I put a little tea dye paper there. Then I found this other scrap of paper, which is really beautiful. This is actually from Ruby and Pearl XO. So the two main collections that I'm using here are from Amity Bloom and Ruby and Pearl XO, just in case you're curious. But anyways, I'm wanting to make this a little journal. I could staple the edge. I'm definitely not going to sew it. I mean, that's just like overkill for this two little pieces of paper folded inside another piece of paper. That feels like overkill for me anyways. I did decide I wanted to use this scrap though and kind of give it a decorative spine and really make it look more book-like. And the other great thing is it ties into those flowers because this scrap came from that piece with the Vermont cottage. It's just the part that I tore off the edge of that. So now it blends it all together better. And I'm deciding, okay, how am I going to put this on my page? Well, I had scrap waxed twine on my desk, and I decide I'm going to run that along that edge of the star paper. I'm going to glue it down. And this is actually going to anchor in my book. So it's going to be like a little flowish journal that is just tucked on the string that is adhered to the page. How fun is that? Like, this is what's so great. You could look at sketches and think, wow, that's a really dry way, but it's not. You can expand a card sketch in thousands of ways. I'm just convinced that you could give 1,000 people a card sketch and every person could alter it in some way to make it unique and to make it shine. And we can do the same thing in our journals. Okay, so I've got my vintage tape, and I do decide to go ahead and reinforce that waxed twine or thread on the page because I really don't want that coming off. I know my PVA glue could certainly hold it, but I also didn't want it getting glue everywhere or sticking to the other page. And so I was very modest with how much I had put on there. But see how that's removable now? So much fun, you guys. I absolutely love that page and how it came together. Okay, I'm going to show you one more page. This one was great. It's so funny. This card definitely reminds me of something that a junk journaler would make as a greeting card. It has a pocket. It has a couple of things tucked into the pocket. And so we're going to do that. So maybe this is really kind of nothing new, but what's fun about it is that, yes, it has what most junk journalers would do, which is put a pocket down at the base of the page, like I'm going to do here. But what's kind of fun and different is on the card sketch, it has an additional, focal point that is raised up on that pocket. So I'll show you how I interpreted that. I ended up deciding to use this really sturdy patterned paper for my pocket. I kind of auditioned different pieces there. You saw the butterfly paper and different ones. And this one ended up being the one that was meant to be on this page. And I love the colors. I really think they tie in to the other side. I can still put my butterfly in there. I'm just going to put it in my pocket. I'm also going to grab another item to put in my pocket. The sketch did have a couple of things in the pocket, so sure, I can put a couple of things. And then I really liked this little kind of tag or label that says today was a beautiful day. And I'm going to make that my popped up focal piece. I'm thinking, okay, I definitely want to layer something behind it. And I also had this ruffle on my desk. See, if you're like me and you keep like 1.3 million things on your desk, then it just helps creativity because you never know what you'll pull into your next project just to get it off your desk. No, that ruffle was destined to be on that page because it was the perfect length and everything, color, everything about it. I also had this scrap of this beautiful purple cardstock. So that's what I'm going to back my label with. I wanted it to be sturdy. It's going to go on the top edge of this pocket. So I'm only going to glue down the very bottom part of this label onto the pocket, and that way, of course, things can still slide in and out of the pocket. And being that it's backed, it's definitely sturdy enough. So yeah, I'm just going to put a little glue there and glue that directly onto the pocket. You don't want to get any glue behind the pocket or over that ephemera. I'm going to use my PVA glue, which is Lineco PVA, and I'm going to glue down my beautiful little ruffle. And that's it, you guys. That's the big reveal. That is using card sketches, using scrapbook sketches to decorate and fill your junk journal pages. It is what I'm going to be doing for quite some time. I just know it. I absolutely love this. I still have so much journaling space and my pages are decorated. They're ready for me to go back and record my memories however I wish. I didn't have to overthink anything between my live session, which was 45 minutes. You can go back and watch the replay. And this session, I spent about an hour and 20 minutes or 30 minutes doing 6 pages. And I just love every page. Every page is different and unique and special. And yeah, to me, it's a win. Anybody can do this. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to have anything special, but you can make your journals special. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.